Hello guys, welcome back to our second part of the review of the Dream Pack 2.
Yep, and today we're going to be, as requested, well, this was the first request we had, we're going to be having a look at the Ford GT Mark 1, GT40 Mark 1,
GT40, yeah.
And the Lamborghini Countach 5000 QV. So we'll start with the Ford because it's the older car, and it was also the car that we first drove. So just thought, let's just put it first. So that's the car we'll start with, and then halfway through the video we'll switch to the second car.
Yeah. Before we get into the car and the specs and what we feel about the car, we have to mention that apparently this car has no specs.
Yeah, according to Assetto Corsa, when you go to select the car, and that's where we generally get our first set of specs from. That's where we look first, then we look online and make sure we get the rest of them. According to that, it has no top speed, no power, no torque, nothing.
Yeah, we're not in a sarky mood today, anything like that, or you know, we're having a gripe. We just.
No, I'm just being completely serious. There is nothing there. According to Assetto Corsa, there is actually nothing there, and I think that is a bug that needs to be fixed because everyone wants to know what kind of power this car has, because it's it's a race car.
It's a classic.
Yeah,
it's a classic.
You want to know.
It's not gonna be the fastest car, but it's gonna be a classic. It's a classic.
I'm just considering that. I wonder if the specs are missing for the very reason that it's a race car and a classic race car at that.
And it could vary from livery to livery.
Yeah, or car to car, because there were so many of these cars made, so many different types.
And if that's the case, we both look like idiots right now.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that.
Should we start the video again?
No.
No. Okay.
You didn't let me start it again. That race where I crashed out.
Okay.
Fair
enough. We'll continue. Right. Tell you what. Should we talk about the specs? Then we get in.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that.
So it's a 4.7 liter V8 engine. It has 5 gears at rear-wheel drive. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just spitting them out here at the moment.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. I'm just a bit distracted.
Let's try it again. Hold on.
Yeah.
This is a Ford GT40 Mark 1. It's a 4.7 litre V8, and it's a rear-wheel drive with 5 manual gears. That's
what I meant to say, yeah. That's what I meant to say. Right, I tell you can just continue then.
Alright, it comes in with a curb weight of just over a tonne, so it's 1,005 kilograms, and we've got 300, after a bit of searching, we found 385 bhp, and that's at about 6,500 RPM. Now this car revs about just under 7,000. I believe, at most. So it's right at the top of its rev range.
And it hits a top speed of 175.
Yeah. And to get that, obviously it's got some pretty decent torque as well. Yeah. With the torque figures coming out around 447 Newton meters at, what is it?
5,000.
5,000 RPM.
That's what we found, yeah.
It's a race car. And you can always tell a race car because they always have things in the far upper regions. Yeah. Because obviously you want to keep those cars as high in the highest rev range possible to make sure that you can keep it going.
And the final stat, it hits 3.7 seconds.
Yeah, or thereabouts. Obviously,
it's quite nippy.
Changed a bit. 1965. I knew what you were going to ask. 1965,
and it does 3.7. Whoa, that's amazing, absolutely amazing.
1965, and this car. Then there was the Mark II, I think, in 66, 67. And then there was a Mark III and then the Mark IV, all the way up to 1969. And the great thing about these cars is that when this car did come out, the Mark I, it won the Le Mans 24 Hours, beating Ferrari, which is what they set out to do, which is what Ford set out to do. So it's actually made in Slough, I believe.
Oh, okay.
For those of you in America, Slough is sort of west of London, just a bit west of London. Yeah. And I think the Mark II and Mark III were also made in Slough. The Mark IV was made back in America. Okay. But I think it's a British design with an American engine and American philosophy on it. Okay. And I think it works quite well. Yeah. I do think this Ford philosophy works.
One thing, is this a Mark 1 throughout its liveries, or does it change to Mark II and a Mark III?
It's a Mark 1. The car is a Mark 1. Okay. The liveries, I believe, were available in the later Marks.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So I thought maybe they've sort of adjusted it, made it into a Mark.
No, because then they'd have to adjust the power and the way it looks and everything.
That's why the specs might have question mark on it.
That's one thing, but I do know that when they talked about this car, when they were saying they were releasing it, it said Mark 1.
Okay, fair enough.
So I don't know. I don't know.
If any of you know anything, just put it in the comments box.
Yeah, exactly. We read them and then we see how much of an idiot we are.
Yeah. So I drove this car. It's actually a nice drive.
Yeah, it is a nice drive. I liked it.
I mean, you mentioned it's oversteers quite a bit,
Yeah.
but that is what we expected before we even started driving it, didn't we?
Yeah, because it's a rear-wheel drive car and it's a race car. You're gonna expect oversteer. A lot of racing drivers like oversteer. We like oversteer. There we go,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. And surprisingly, very easy to drive. I mean, all right, we drove the Countach before this, and it was easy to drive compared to that.
Yeah, I mean, see, the cars that we drove, I'm going to say it's harder to drive than a BMW M4.
Okay, yeah.
It's harder to drive than that. The Countach that you're going to see later in the video, it's easier, a little bit easier to drive than that. But I think I was expecting this car to be quite difficult to drive because it's a very old car. And the last old car I drove, which wasn't a Formula 1 car, was that Lamborghini Miura.
Oh, yeah.
And do you remember how hard that was to drive?
It's like driving a bus.
It's more like sailing a boat. But it was really, really hard to drive, and that's why I thought, well, this car would be, a difficult car. But it really wasn't. I'm not saying it's an easy car to drive. It does require some practice, and it does require a little bit of skill. But it's by no means the hardest car to drive. In fact, it's far from the hardest car to drive. It's nice to drive. And I think that was really good. The modelling is absolutely fantastic. We saw that straight out. I did find the lights a bit odd because when the lights were switched on, which is not in this video, but when the lights were switched on, it didn't look like the lights. It just looked like there was like
a little beams. It's not even beams, just bulbs on.
Yeah, it just looked like bulbs on with no light actually emanating from them. Which in the other cars you see like the light, the lens flare and all that.
But that could be a 1960s thing.
I think it's because it was an old car. They didn't have the lights that were that strong.
Yeah, I think
so they just put it in. So, but I'm not really complaining about that. It looked really good. With the lights like they were, it really did look good. I think it's a fantastic model, and the physics are really good with this new tyre model. It's really, really nice. There were a couple of updates actually to Assetto Corsa over this past week, just to fix a few things with 1.3, and I think one of the things was on the GT40. So they've just sorted that.
I hope they haven't changed any force feedback.
No,
that was perfect. I hope they don't change it, please. Just leave it as it is.
Make it better, even better if you can.
But when they do that, you know what happens.
I don't know. Kunos haven't let us down yet.
Just leave
but
it. It's perfect
for now
right
it's almost. I'd say perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds
sounds are always a picky. It's a picky topic, isn't it? It's very picky.
Okay, look, it sounds good.
Yeah.
But there's not much of it. Is that fair to say?
I think so. Yeah. Outside is quite nice.
Yeah.
I think you'll hear the outside is quite nice, but inside we found it was a little bit quiet and. It was lacking a bit of bass.
Yeah,
there was a bit of
I think especially being a 1960s car, and you know what they're like. They're very loud inside and outside.
Yeah. No, exactly. No real, padding or anything. It's just.
So we felt a bit let down in terms of, sound in that way. But the sound itself is really good when you're outside.
Yeah, in accuracy, I think it was great. I think it just missed that V8 rumble. Yeah. With the bass and that, and like you said, it needs to be loud.
Yeah.
It needs to be louder. That's about it on the sound.
Yeah.
I think overall, there we go. Look at. Do you see what I mean about the sliding?
It's a nice, fun car to drive. But whether I can't see it being a favourite for anybody. Well, not for me anyway.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's quite a broad with everybody, but not for me.
Yeah, and I know what you mean. What would you say that was stopping you from, calling it a favourite? Let's take the sounds out.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go back a bit now. I'm gonna say. My favorite car in this game is the M3.
Yeah, the old E90 one. Yeah.
E90, yeah. And I drove that last week, and I'm not joking. That is the most fun I've ever had in a Assetto Corsa. Now, if you haven't tried it, drive the E90 in this version. It is amazing, and you agree with me now.
Yeah, it is a fantastic car.
Now, compared to that, it's the fun factor. You know this car is not going to win you races. When you go up against a big good car.
If you go against other GT40s, it's going to be good. But if you want to go against a modern day supercar, you're not winning anything.
And that's likewise with the M3 as well.
Yeah.
But I just feel it's lacking something. You don't feel at one with the car.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm being very broad, and I'm probably just people probably think I'm BSing, but I just didn't enjoy driving it.
No, I think I understand what you mean. Personally, I really did enjoy driving the car. I really did enjoy driving the car. But overall, I know what you mean. It's not like the most favourite car. I do like the old cars in Assetto Corsa, though. I think, as well as the fact that Assetto Corsa overall as a simulator has possibly the most accurate cars, the older cars are sort of at that level that you don't get from any other game or simulator. I know that other games, you know, with the newer cars, people are like, well, this one's close enough and this one's close enough. But the older cars are always harder to get done right. And I think they've sort of done it right.
Yeah, no, it's as close as you're going to get. I mean, you know, I'm quickly going to say, in Gran Turismo, in the first one, where we had the Chevy. Yeah. Can you remember it?
Which one? The C5 Chevy?
I can't remember what it is now, but I remember it was an old car. It was
Stingray.
Yeah, that's the one.
Stingray, the C2.
Yeah, that was awful to drive.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I'm talking 10, 15 years ago now in comparison, but you know, when we've got to this now, where we are making leaps and bounds, bringing the old cars back to their former glory.
It's so incredible, it is. And I think we're on our last lap here, so really, overall, I want to rate this car. I know we don't generally rate Kuno's cars, but I mean, in terms of thing, I'm probably going to rate this car an 8.5.
I was honestly thinking the same, and I'm not just saying it because I think 8.5. I'm not going to be too low, and you know, it is what it is, and it's a good car.
If they fix the sounds, I would probably be giving it a 9-ish, maybe just over a 9. But it does lack a little bit in the fun factor. That being said, if you put it in a race, I think it might be quite interesting to put this car in a race. So what we're going to do is we'll let you guys just enjoy the rest of this lap. We've got about a minute left, and we'll join you in a minute to switch over to the next car, which is going to be the Lamborghini Countach.
Hello guys, and we're back in the Lamborghini Countach 5000 QV. I don't ever remember calling it a 5000 QV.
No, I think it's because there were multiple variants, and as kids we didn't know. Countach was a Countach, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I honestly had this on my bedroom wall.
I actually had the 25th anniversary edition one, not the QV, which is the version that comes just after this. So
I don't know, mine was white with a sea background.
I had a dark metallic blue. Talk about going back many years now.
Yeah, I know.
But Lamborghini Countach. Actually, there was one other version. We knew two versions as kids. We knew the Countach, and then we knew the Countach with those ugly American bumpers to comply with. Do you remember to comply with federal regulations? It puts those. The back bumper didn't look so bad, but that one at the front, it just sort of stuck out in front of the fog lights. And look.
For all our younger viewers, this is like. One of the, a supercar. You can class it as a supercar.
Ignore me going off here. I was playing with my brakes, and you probably noticed.
Is that what you call it now?
If you actually looked at the pedal box app in the corner, you see that I wasn't pressing the brakes. I had my foot on the brake and the throttle at the same time. and I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, no, this is not working. This is not working. But moving on. Younger viewers, you guys might not even know of this car. Think Aventador of the 80s, because that's exactly what this is.
And there wasn't much challenges.
No, there weren't.
As if, Ferraris.
There was the F40.
Yeah.
But the F40 was in a different league because that was a very special car. Lamborghini just went and made these cars that were out there to kill you.
Yeah.
This is where the name Raging Bull for Lamborghini comes in. These are the Raging Bulls. The Miura, the Countach, the Diablo, the Murcielago, and the Aventador. Yeah, those are the Raging Bulls, and we're on the second one.
Yeah. Right then, so, well, am I right? Really, it's 14 different colours.
Yeah, that's how many come in the pack. With actually 4 of them are actually in the Walter Wolf Racing colours, which is a Canadian Canadian businessman. You probably know the name. The blue one actually has the Canadian flag where the lights normally are.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually like with the lights on. It's actually stuck the Canadian flag on it.
The maple leaf.
Yeah, the maple leaf. And it just, I was gonna drive that one, but then I saw this yellow one, and I thought, well, you know, these Lamborghinis were often yellow.
Yeah, we're gonna be neutral as well.
Yeah, and let's try and neutral. But every episode we ask about if something was made in Britain. But yeah, 14 colours, which is really, really nice. But that's just a standard thing that you get now from Assetto Corsa. They give you a lot of colours. Really, what was interesting about this was the specs. Because, like you said, it's the 5000 QV, which means there were so many different versions. This is the second to last version of the Countach.
So in well, it should be the most high profile one.
The 25th anniversary edition was the most high profile, but yeah, this was second to that. I mean, the 25th anniversary edition and this were virtually identical in many ways.
Right, so we'll go on the stats now. It just weighs out just under 1.5 tons.
Yep.
It's a bit heavy, isn't it, for a supercar?
Yeah, it is quite heavy.
And pushes out 442 horses at 7,000 RPM.
Yeah, and it only revs up to 7,300 or just over that. So it's not a high revving supercar, which is a bit of a surprise. Yeah. But it does have 500 Newton meters of torque at just over about 5,200 RPM, which is a lot of torque.
And it has a top speed of 185, which I'm guessing is probably limited.
I think so. I think when it got to the 25th anniversary edition, they changed a few things in the engine, and this car could get up to 200. But that was one of the only changes for the 25th anniversary. And
well, this is my favourite stat. It's a V12.
Yeah.
The V12, mid-engine and 5.2 liters.
5.2 liters.
V12. Yeah. I miss these cars.
I know what you mean. I mean, the newer V12s is still not. Yeah, it's just not the same.
Yeah, but there's not much of them around now.
No. I think Lamborghini with their flagship, they still keep the V12. The Aventador is still a V12, isn't it? Oh, yeah. I think so.
Is it?
Yeah, it must be. I'm going to have to check if it's a V10, 12 or V10. But yeah, 4 valves per cylinder for this engine. This is where it changed from the previous version of the Countach. That's why it's got the Quattro Valvoli name, which is the QV. 4 valves. And it's got 6 double barrel carburetors. Now what they did is they moved the carburetors on top of the engine instead of at the side, which is why rear visibility in this car is absolutely zero.
Right, so why is there a mirror?
That's a good question. You guys can't see the mirror because the replay box is in the way, but there is a mirror that you can actually look out of, which I think they've only put in so that people just don't crash into each other in a race. You know, you hit the brakes and you have no idea what's coming behind you. You just brace. But yeah, it's this makes this car. I've approximated it because it didn't have a date on it. I'm approximating it. It makes it from 1985 because it had carburetors, not fuel injection, and it was 442 brake horsepower. It wasn't the 25th anniversary edition, but it was a 5.2 litre with 4 valves per cylinder.
This car was first built in 1974.
1974 is when this car came out, when they stopped making the Miura.
Wow, I feel really old right now.
Well, I'm going to say that when they stopped building this, I was -2. So...
Well, let's not go there. Right, anyway, moving on. Let's start talking about age.
But yeah, and final stat for this is 0 to 62 miles an hour, about 5.4 seconds. Which is, I suppose, slow compared to...
But it's built in 1974.
Yeah. But compared to many supercars today, I mean, look at the Ford that we did before, 0 to 60 in 3.7.
Yeah, but
this is slow compared to that.
Yeah.
The Ferrari F40 was faster as well.
Yeah.
But it was a manual 5 gears. The thing is about this car is Lamborghinis were designed for driving, not for going fast, not for winning races. They were just designed that when you drove them or when you saw someone driving them, they looked good.
But they set the bar, didn't they?
They did. In terms of looks, they definitely set the bar.
Yeah.
There was nothing that beat a Lamborghini. I mean, very outrageous styling. The cockpit sort of pushed so far forward, so that to make room for the engine, it's got a long, low nose, and it's very, very outrageous styling.
Just been to that corner, a lot of cars are now. I mean, based on this, I mean, I'm just about
in many ways, yeah. I mean, if you look at the new Lamborghinis, they still have hints of all these old Lamborghinis in them, which I think is absolutely great. But the car itself, fun to drive.
Oh yeah,
it's a Lamborghini. It's going to, the Miura was also fun to drive, even though it was steering horribly. But just to get it kicking out, get the back kicking out.
It's good on straight lines. Is that what you're trying to say?
The Miura was good on straight lines. Yeah. This though was surprisingly good in the corners.
Yeah.
I was surprised because I was expecting an upgrade from the boat. Maybe, in fact, if we were to put the thing, the Miura was a hovercraft. You couldn't control it. This would have been, I was thinking, a boat, and then the Diablo would actually end up being a car.
Yeah.
But no, this was actually a really nice car. Oversteers again, but all old cars.
Like we said, we knew that with the Ford and now this. That was just, because exactly what you said.
They're old cars, they're rear-wheel drive. When you go downhill, in the downhill braking zones, you did have tendency to understeer a bit as well, like I just did.
Yeah.
But generally it was oversteer. But the oversteer was just so nice to catch. I think I might just oversteer it here as well, and you'll just see. Not on this, maybe in a couple of laps.
I like the wipers. So 1980s.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It is.
1970s. But just by looking at them, it just and it's quite a good. I mean, looking internally now. I looked at all the gauges work.
I tell you what, if you look down towards the bottom right-hand corner, it looks like a little safe or a private ATM machine down there. I have no idea what that is.
Looks like a taxi driver's radio.
Or a fare meter or something. I have no idea what that is down there. I think it's got to be something to do with radio or...
In fact, is that a calculator?
It could even be a calculator. See, what happened in the 1980s, children used to do their exams in Lamborghinis. Because it just got the best out of them at 100 miles an hour, screaming in terror. Now I think they're just screaming terror at the exam itself. But it is a very nicely modelled car as well, and it really was nice to drive. I think you'll agree with me.
I enjoy driving this car. I'm going to mark it because I know I'm going to give it straight. I'm going to give it a 9.
Yeah, I was gonna give it something similar. I was gonna probably give it just over a 9.
Yeah, so I mean.
Because it had more fun factor than the Ford.
Oh yeah, that's why. That is why. Yeah.
But apart from that, everything else was just as good as the Ford.
Yeah.
Again, in the sounds, it just lacks a little bit in the sound again. Just that rumble just seems to be just slightly missing. But it's as accurate as you're going to get.
Especially being a V12.
Exactly. But I think the Miura did sound better than this in terms of when they've done the sound.
Yeah.
But obviously. It's a nice car. There's no doubt about that. It's a really, really nice car, and I think both of us enjoyed driving it thoroughly. In fact, I think I drove this a couple of times before this review. You drove it once, didn't you, on this track? And then I actually took this one out here, and I took a black one out, a Mugello, and it was different track. I thought I'd get used to it a bit. It was still very nice to drive. It still had the same characteristics, so it wasn't just the characteristics of the track, it was the characteristics of the car. Look at that. You just so easily just slide it in. But
I like the way the lights are just up and on.
Oh yeah, pop-up headlights. Can you imagine if that returns?
How cool was that? So 1980s. I love the pop-up headlights.
Yeah. In fact, I think they started changing them as it came into the 90s, didn't they? They started replacing them with just the flat headlights instead.
No, but I think the Knight Rider take it into the 90s with a flat.
Yeah, but that Trans Am was from the 80s, wasn't it?
It was from the 80s, but then.
And again, younger viewers have no idea what we're talking about here.
David Hasselhoff, pre-Baywatch days.
Yeah, Knight Rider.
Yeah.
It was just so.
Just
great.
Google it.
Google Knight Rider. You might actually know the theme.
Yeah.
I think everyone would recognize.
Please
that
don't
theme.
sing it.
No, let's not do that. But overall, like you said, I think we're giving this car around a 9.
Yeah.
And so far, what does that make of the Dream Pack? Though? I think that puts the Dream Pack as just as good as Dream Pack 1, doesn't it, so far?
Yeah.
One thing I do want to make a mention of is the Nissan GTR from the bonus pack. Still hasn't been fixed.
No.
The tyres have done something to it. It's made it better to drive. It's more manageable. But it's still not I still don't like driving the car, and I just want to mention that because I know someone was asking about whether it's been fixed or not, and the answer is
not yet.
Not yet. We do hope it will be fixed. Next week, what are we going to be driving next week? I'm thinking one of the cars that was requested was the R8 Ultra.
Yeah.
So I think we'll take that one out for a spin. And I think alongside it, a nice car to take out would be that roof.
The roof, yeah. We got told up. It's a roof.
Yeah, roof. I still say it's you with your dog noises. But I think we'll take out the roof R12.
Yeah.
Is it RT12R or something?
Yeah.
And we'll take that out. That should be quite interesting because the R8 is a modern kind of car, while the roof is still it's a modern car because it is a modern variant of the Porsche still, but it's a rear engine, rear wheel drive. It's going to be quite an interesting drive. So that's going to be really nice. We'll let you enjoy the rest of this lap, and hopefully you guys will join us for part 3. And we've already told you what cars we're going to be reviewing, so you've got something to look forward to. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to our channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa, and leave a comment in the comments box below letting us know if you've picked up Dream Pack 2 and what you guys think of it, as well as what cars you want us to do the week after next. Once again, thank you very much for watching. We're AD Studios, and we'll see you next week.